and it's going to allow me to use a lot of the different tools in CorelDRAW, a lot of the basic tools that I like to work with or that we're going to work with a lot of. They're just right up here. Just makes it easier for me to be able to select them and keep working with them. And so rather than having to go up here to Object and go to Shaping and look for Weld, we put it right there for you. So very easy, very convenient for you guys to be able to find those different tools out. Again, just the whole point of the macros to make your designing process quicker and easier for you guys, so you guys can get that product out to your customers and obviously make more money. So again, the wizard is just a tool to help you guys out with the designing process. Now we're going to be able to I'm going to go over how to do a nice multi-deck design and also create a rhinestone design for you guys in the webinar as well. So I can show you how quick and easy it is to do different things with the software, right? So let's go ahead and get started here. Here is the TRW Stone Wizard. A couple things that you see right away is obviously our color palettes here on the left-hand side. So these are most of our rhinestone colors here on the left-hand side. Now, if you want to see the rest of them, the full list of our colors, just go ahead and click on your drop-down menu here. So on the right-hand side, you have your drop-down menu, and here is all of our different colors. Now, of course, you understand you might not use just our stones. So what we did is actually added a little section here, an edit tab, where I can click on it, and if I know the RGB colors of the particular stone I'm working with, I can go ahead and enter it in here, and it's going to add it to my list. So we can do TRW, web, and then just type in, if you know the RGB, again, it's going to change the actual coloring, and then I can just hit add here, and there it is. So it's all the way at the bottom. I can use my arrows to move it to the top. I can hold shift. It's going to if I hold shift, it's going to bring it all the way to the top. So a couple different things. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hit save, and if I notice now, it's all the way at the top. So there's my new color I just created, and also right here on my left-hand side, there it is, all the way at the top of my toolbar there, of my color bar there. All right. Also, we have our stone sizing here. So we have our different stone sizes. It comes preset with the SS6s, 8s, 10s, 16, 20s, 30s, and 34s. Now, of course, if you don't want to use these settings that we give you guys, you can obviously edit them. To do that, we're going to go ahead and hit our pencil tool here. It's going to bring up our edit stone size tab or window here, where we're going to be able to edit those different sizes. So say I wanted to edit my SS6s, I can go here, change it from fixed size 0.097 to 0.098. If I like, hit save, and now you'll notice up here, it's going to, when I actually select my stone, it's going to be at that size now, okay? Does anybody have any questions in regards to those two different things there? Now, those are two drop-down menus that you guys are going to be using quite frequently, just because with the stones, you obviously want to make sure that you're working with the correct size, and then also with the colors when you're creating your mock-ups, where I'll get into that here momentarily on where we're actually going to be using these colors here to show off the design. All right. Next thing you'll see is our tabs here. So we have the TRW Stone Wizard tab. We have our fonts tab up here. Now, the great thing about the fonts tab is we have a favorite fonts tab here that we can add any fonts that we have in our font folder. We can go down here. So I can go AR Destin, add to favorites, and it adds it right in there. Another great thing about this little window here, we have our font preview. So it shows me upper, lower. So now, if I'm working with a true type font, so let me go ahead and type in, let's go ahead and type in TRW. Here's one thing that you always want to look at when you're looking at the font. So let's just say you purchase a font from the Rhinestone World website, and let's just say it's the TRW 28 true type font here, okay? So all I did was type it out, selected the font that I bought from the Rhinestone World website. Now look what happens. See right here where it says upper, and I don't see where it says lower, okay? That's telling me that this font right here, I can only type out in uppercase, okay? So if I type it in lowercase, look what happens. So now it's in lowercase. If I go ahead and increase the size, highlight it, now look what happens. See, nothing shows up. The reason for that is the way we created this font was in uppercase. So the only time it's ever going to work is if you type it in uppercase. Now, what we've done is actually up here in our toolbar, we added our little text, or excuse me, our text window, or some features from our text window here that's going to help you make this process a little bit easier. So I can come up here to my toggle cases, click on that, and I'm just going to select uppercase, hit OK. And now, because it switched the casing to uppercase, now I can see my TRW Rhinestone font there, okay? And again, that all can be seen right here in the font preview. If you don't see a lowercase or uppercase, it just means that that font was created in a certain case, all right? So, true type fonts, again, very convenient to use. I don't know if anybody of you guys ever seen our our webinars working with the TrueType fonts, where we kind of go through the process and show how to create how to create different designs and utilizing those TrueType fonts. Are many of you guys working with fonts right now, with the TrueType fonts? Okay, so it looks like some of you guys are already, and I see a couple of you guys aren't. So I'll go over the TrueType fonts as well and show you exactly how to work with them here in the TRW Stone Wizard, and some of the features that are going to make your job easier when doing the different designs and doing the different customization to those logos when working with them. All right, so let's just say we did type out the TRW here. So again, we're working with our TRW 28 TrueType font here, okay? So we have this done. So we have the TRW typed out. I can go ahead and, if you notice, if I can click on just one stone here, I can just drag it around my screen, but it's still one object, okay? Because it's still one object, I still need to do a couple things in order to make it where I have all of my circles here be individual, so I can go ahead and select each one and edit each one how I liked. So what I need to do first is we created this tab here in the TRW Stone Wizard. That's going to make that job easier for you guys. So all I need to do is highlight my design. I'm going to come up here to resize your rhinestone, and I'm simply going to click on that. So left click on my resize rhinestones. I'm going to come over here to say where it says yes, and simply it's going to resize it for me. Now look what happens. I can come in here, select one of my stones. I can look at the top here, and it's going to tell me 0.13, so I know that is the perfect SS10 size. Now this design would be ready to go. Okay, so this design would be ready to cut. All right, does anybody have any questions on that? All right, so that would be working with a single color rhinestone design. We also have HTV TrueType fonts created. So let's go ahead and type out baseball. So we'll type out baseball. And now what we've done is created some different fonts with images in them. So I don't know if you guys have seen these before. If you guys come to the trade shows, you've probably seen these at the the sample shirts with the baseball laces on them, or the football laces, or the cheerleading images on them. That's what I'm going to show you guys right now. So here we have our TRW baseball laces. So if I select my baseball laces up here, notice how I already have it in my favorite fonts. So I added it to the favorite fonts because it's something I use quite frequently. Okay, so now we have our baseball laces, but this still needs something else going on, because right now it's only a one color design, and I know this actually has a second color to it. And the reason I know that is, again, my font preview right here. It shows me uppercase is the fill, and the lowercase is my outline with the actual laces going through it. Okay, so to add the second color, again, we made it very easy for you guys. Go to your Stone Wizard tab. I'm going to go to my Edit tab right here, and then I'm just going to simply hit Two Color Magic Text, which adds the second color for me. Okay, so there's my second color. If I drag it off, one great thing you'll see about this particular font here, the way we created it already comes with a trapping method. So what that does for you is, once you try to apply the two different glitter colors, you'll be able to put that second layer directly onto your garment, which is going to, it's going to definitely ensure the longevity of that particular design on the garment. Because what happens is, with Easyweed, you don't have an issue. With Easyweed, you can layer it, you can do whatever you want with the Easyweed. But the glitter vinyl, because of the rough texture, if you try to layer it, what happens is, when you wash that particular garment, the water's going to seep through the little grooves and edges, because it's that rough texture. And once it gets inside those grooves and that kind of rough texture, it's going to start making the top layer peel, because it's going to get it wet. So that's why we created this magic trap method, where it's going to basically completely delete that part, because now it's actually on the garment. So you won't have any issues with the water getting in between the two layers, because it's on the garment. Okay? So just a quick little hint there. But again, all of our HTV TrueType fonts come like that. All right, so they already come with that that magic trap installed in there for it. Right, and the best way to know is, if I go to my wireframe view up here, notice there's an extra layer. So this extra layer right here, that's my magic trap. Okay, so that little layer right there, that's the extra layer in there that I added, or that we added to this font to make it usable with the glitter vinyls, HTV vinyls, holographic vinyls, because again, they're not layered. They're going to be directly on the garment. Okay? Does anybody have any questions on the HTV TrueType fonts here? Claire, I did see the question. How do you install them? Perfect question. Let me go ahead and show you guys. So let me go ahead and open my window up here. I'm going to go ahead and bring just some fonts so I can show you guys how to install those fonts real quick there. It's very simple, very easy, very quick to do. So let me go to fonts. Let's see. All right, so let's just say, so I double-clicked, and I get, once you actually download a font from us, all right, you can double-click on it, and it's going to bring you the TRW it's going to give you the name up here, and it's going to give you a preview. So this is actually our font preview. And it's the same preview you get if you go to thefont.com and download one of their free fonts. Same exact preview. The only thing you need to do from here is hit install. And once you hit install, it's going to install right on my computer for me. Now, this is the TRW Chevron 1 HTV1, okay? Good thing is I didn't have it installed on my computer, so it installed it for me. Now, look at this. If I come here and I do TRW Chevron 1, there's my new font. See that? So there's my new font, and that is the one I literally just downloaded that font, and there it is. Now I can work with that particular font. All right? So that's how easy, quick, and easy it is to go ahead and install those fonts and start working with those fonts with the TRW Stone Wizard. There you go, Claire. Or Carrie, I'm sorry, Carrie. Love that font, absolutely. And actually the Chevron font here, and also and you can see here when I take off the top layer, here's our magic trap as well. Yes, Steve, great question. So Steve's question was, so it knows where to install. The great thing about that, Steve, is because when you're installing it, it's like any other TrueType font. It's just placing it directly into your font library, just like any of your other fonts here. So Impact, it's in your font library on your computer. It just knows when you actually download the font, it's going to bring up that preview. Once you install it, it's going to go right into that font folder that you already have in your computer. And that's where the wizard's getting it from, right here. Okay? No problem. Awesome. All right, so that is your two-color HTV font. So some other cool things we can do. Now we can get creative. Let's say you have a baseball design. All right, so let's get a little bit creative here. Let's say you have something like this. So you want to maybe put the text on an arch, so you can actually make the design flow a little bit nicer, make it look a little bit better. What I can do now is I can go ahead and grab my 3-point curve tool here in Corel Draw, and I'm just going to simply draw a straight line. So I'm going to left click and hold down, and I'm just going to drag my mouse to the right, which is going to create my straight line, okay? Once I let go of the mouse, watch this. I can create a nice little arch there, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and left click again, and it creates that arch for me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just make this just a tad bit bigger here because I know the font I'm going to use is going to take up about 10 inches. So I'm going to go about 10.8. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now what I can do is let's go ahead and type out my word. So I can type in baseball. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm quite the baseball fan, and baseball season just started, so I'm definitely going to use baseball quite a lot here, so I apologize in advance. All right, so now I have my baseball selected here. But first, let's go ahead and highlight my design. And I already pre-saved my font here that I wanted to use, the TRW 45. And the reason I did that is because I know it's one of my fonts that has a two-color rhinestone design to it, okay? So remember, right before this one, we did the HTV. Where the HTV, you can just select, type out your word, add the second color, and that's it. You don't have to do anything further because it doesn't have stones. So you don't have to separate the stones or break the stones apart. None of that, okay? With the rhinestones, we do have an extra step that we have to go through to get to the finished product. All right, so to do that, we're going to go ahead and, again, I'm going to go ahead and use my toolbar up here that comes with a TRW Stone Wizard, and I'm simply going to select my middle one here, which is Fit Text to Path, okay? Now, notice the little arrow here. So I got my little arrow. Now, that little arrow is basically going to point to, it's going to grab any path I pass by, and it's going to put the word right on that path. So if I go here, there it is. Adds it right to my path. Now I can just drag it, and I haven't done anything special. I haven't clicked left click or anything. I'm just, right now, all I'm seeing is a preview of my text on the path. Now, watch what happens if I go right here in the center. You see that red line? That's my center line. That tells me that the word is symmetrical right now. So let's go ahead and just click there and drop my baseball word, okay? So now we got baseball in there. Let's go ahead and double click out of here. So double click to get rid of my path. I'm going to go ahead and select my baseball. I'm going to go back to my TRW Stone Wizard. I'm going to go to Edit tab. And again, we got our two-color magic text. Add my two-color magic text, and there it is. So there's my baseball word. Now all we have to do is, again, we have to go back to my resize design tool at the top, click that one time, hit yes, and there it is. There's my baseball text. So you can have your baseball here. You can have your baseball in the middle, your actual logo of the baseball here in the middle, and you can have mom for the M's on the sides, or you can put mom on the bottom, or sister, whatever you want to do. You can now complete because now you have a nice arched word there. And now, of course, we need one more thing, which is to separate the colors. From there, we're completed. All right, so I'm going to go to my templates. Now, in my templates, I have a couple different things here. I have TRW Magic templates. I have stone 2+ cut, stone overcut, some other things in here to help the cutting process easier, or to make the cutting process easier on you guys. It all depends on the cutter. Okay, if you guys have any questions on the different ones, just give us an email and we'll recommend which one you should be using. But basically what it is you're going to have a stone 2+ cut, which is going to give you a full 2 rotations around the circle. All right, the stone overcut is going to give you 1.5 rotations. And all that's doing is giving you a nice clean cut around my circle here to make sure you don't have any little tails kind of dangling off when you weed off the sticky flock material, okay? So with the thicker materials, that 2+ rotation or that overcut is going to make the weeding process a lot easier for you guys. Now I did see your question, Deborah. Deborah's question was, I'm sneaking it at work. How did you do the 2-tone stones? Okay, Deborah, and I'll show you here in a second. Let me just show you how to separate these colors, and I'll go back to how we got those 2 colors, that 2-color font, all right? So here, we have our whole design selected. Now all I have to do is select my TRW magic templates, and all this is going to do is going to separate my colors. It's going to add the weed box around it. Now I have my 2 templates that I can register because both my weed boxes are the same exact size. So let's say we brush in our baseball here, the outline. We'll brush that one in first, and then I can go ahead and add my baseball to fill layer second after we're done brushing that first layer, okay? So that's why we had the 2 same exact template size there to be able to layer it, all right? So that's how quick and easy it was to create that baseball word, put it on an arch, and get it separated to send to your cutter, all right? Now, Deborah, let me go ahead and answer your question. As far as that 2-color font there, it's a font that we already have created on the website. I'll show you here. So it's a TRW 45. Notice right here I have font preview. I have the upper and the lower, okay, again, right? So let's say I'll type in this time, we'll go ahead and type in Deborah. So we'll type in Deborah. Notice how I typed it in uppercase, so I know it's going to come up with the outline only right now. Okay, so I can go ahead and select my TRW 44. Oh, I'm sorry, the fill, because I was looking at it differently. Okay, so because I typed it in uppercase, we're only going to get the fill first, okay? So now, here's the big thing is I can make this design any size I want it to be, okay? I can make it any size I want it to be because it doesn't really matter right now. I'm going to go ahead and add the second color now. Because this is only the fill, I know this has a second color, so I can go to my Edit tab, and here's where I found that second color, the 2-color magic text there, Deborah. So all I need to do is click on this feature right here, and it's going to add the second color for me, all right? So again, 2-color magic text, click it, bam, there's my second color. All right? So now, this is where I mean by it doesn't matter the size you make it off the bat because it's a true type, it's a Rhinestone true type font, meaning no matter what happens, it's still going to be resized to a specific size that we created it in. So now from here, all I have to simply do is hit my resize design, hit yes, and there it is. Now, I had a great question come in. Steve said, how do you change the colors? Now, Steve, to change the colors, we have some features up here, okay? The left one right here is going to be find all same size color or all same size stones. The middle one, find all the same colors. And then the last one is find all same size and color selected. So if I want to select just my oranges, okay? If I just want to select the orange color here, all I have to do is select one of my stones. So I'm just going to select one of my orange stones. Nothing crazy, right? From here, I'm simply going to click on my select all same color, and that highlights just my orange stones. You see that? So I can move this out of the way, and all I have there is my orange stones. All right, so from there, I can simply go to my color palette here, my Rhinestone color palette. I can go to, let's go to green since there's already orange. I can go to purple. I can go to my new TRW web color we created, and then we can do the same thing for the second one. So select the second color, which is our black, and then we can go ahead and do the same thing for this one and change the color. All right, so very easy to change those colors around, and then from here you can put this on a t-shirt with a mock-up and send it to your customer, which again we're going to be going over momentarily here in the webinar. All right, Suzanne, yeah, absolutely. I can show you exactly how to put it on a curve. And again, guys, if you guys want me to repeat anything, just let me know. I know I talk a little bit quick. I just had some coffee, so just slow me down and let me know if you guys want me to repeat anything. I'll be more than happy to. Again, this is a beginner webinar, so I want to make sure we can get as much accomplished and as much covered, but I also want to make sure that you guys get in the concept and getting how everything is done, because we will have more webinars that will, we can show the same material, and this is being recorded as well, so you guys can come back and actually watch this webinar on our YouTube channel, all right? And great thing for you guys, I've learned how to do the editing myself, so now I don't have to wait around for anybody to do the editing. I can go ahead and do it myself. So my goal is to at least have them posted within the 28 or 48 hours that we always preach on, right? Tasha, I did see Tasha's question. So when you click the resize, it resized to SS10 stones. Yes, Tasha. And now I'll put this one, I'll put your question, Tasha, with Susan's question about putting it on a arch so I can show you guys what we can do here, okay? So let's go ahead and get our arch. First, we're going to go ahead and grab my 3-point curve tool here. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and just create a nice little curve here and here. So now we have our path, all right? So this is our path. Now we're going to go ahead and select our word. So let's go ahead and type out, we'll go switch it up this time. Basketball season is almost over, so we'll go ahead and do basketball. So now I have my basketball typed out, but first let's go ahead and switch that over to my font. So let's go ahead and TRW 45. And I like to switch it over. You don't have to switch it over till later, but I like to see how it's going to look on the path as a Rhinestone file. So I'm going to go ahead here and click my middle one. And again, the middle feature there, so let me go ahead and just click here and do no. All right, so I'm going to select my text. Once I select my text, notice how my edit tools here show up in my toolbar. From there, I can do the middle one, which is fit text to path. Now that I select that one, now if I go over a path, which is just my line, I can go ahead and expand that. And again, I'm not doing anything special, no left clicking right now. It's just hovering over my path. It's going to just place the basketball right there. Now, the red in the middle, again, that's your center line. And Corel Draw is pretty smart. Once you actually put it on the path and you go over the center line, the symmetrical line there, it's going to tell you, hey, you're right on that path. You can stop now unless you want to keep going to the left or to the right or underneath, all right? So from here, I know it's in the center. I'm going to go ahead and just do a nice little left click. It's going to drop my text right where I need it to be. Now I'm just going to go ahead and click off of it, all right? So now I can get rid of my path. I don't need the path anymore, so I can go ahead and click on that line. And now notice if I click once, it actually selects the whole entire thing. So I can go up and it's going to select the whole entire design, which I do not want. What I want to select is just that path right here. So I'm going to do another left click, and there it is. So now I just selected the path. I can hit delete, and it's gone. So now I don't have a path there. All I have left is my basketball word. So now I'm going to go to Stone Wizard. I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? Actually, let's go ahead and change the stone size. This one's for Tasha. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to my 6s. All right. So now I have 0.097 selected. Now I have to just add my second color before I do anything else. Because again, this is a 2-color design. We're going to go ahead and select our 2-color magic text. Bam, there is basketball. Now we have it on arch. Now we're ready to finish this the process by doing a resized design. And again, I could choose any stone size I wanted to, and it's going to resize it to that particular size, all right? But let's go ahead and choose 6s just because we haven't chosen them already. So let's go ahead and select our resize design. It's going to ask me not all stones are 0.097. Would you like to replace? We're going to hit yes. And there it is. There is my font created. Now if I zoom in, click on my individual stone here, 0.097. Perfect. We're ready to go. Let's go ahead and separate these, and we can send this to our cutter. So there it is. See how quick and easy that was to do? Again, using different tools from Corel and the Wizard, you're able to create really cool looking designs in a matter of no time. And again, I always preach, you know, if these fonts are already created, why recreate them? They're fairly cheap on the website. Go ahead, find the ones you think you're going to use most often and use them. We have some different fonts to make your life easier when doing the different designing. You know, spend the time on the logo, and then you can add the text with the TrueType fonts. It's just going to make your life easier. All right. Now, I see some questions coming in. How would you bring the word back to straight without retyping or Control-Zing? Mike, pretty simple. Ready? So we have this word right here, okay? Because I already resized it, what I can do is simply type out basketball and retype it out. Honestly, that would be the easiest way to do it, Mike. Just because when I did this right here, I already resized it. So technically, it's not a TrueType font anymore. It's not a font. So right now it's just a vector file. So every single circle in there is its own vector file. Okay, so there's not much I can do now to make it flat. But, you know, again, because the fonts are so easy to work with, I can just retype my word out, RF. We're going to go to Stone Wizard, edit, 2-color magic text, re-highlight, and hit resize design. I mean, honestly, that would probably be faster than trying to actually go back and, you know, I mean, technically, if you're still in the TrueType font stage, you can just draw another straight line and add it to that path. But if you're in this stage here where you actually already resized it and have your individual circles as an object, then you're going to have to just retype it and do it this way. But I mean, again, literally 5 seconds, 10 seconds to just do the whole entire word basketball, because the font's already created for you. All right. I know sometimes on some things you have to hold shift or another key. Is there a cheat sheet for the different keys to use? Yes, Steve, great question. So actually, let's go right here to templates. So if I hover over my TRW Magic templates right here, look down here at the bottom. So right down here, it's a little cheat sheet, kind of your own little cheat sheet that we created for you. So I'm going to hover over my TRW Magic template. See what it says down there? So right down there it says right-click mirrors, shift-click adds registration marks. So that's pretty simple, right? So basically what it's telling me is that if I do a right-click, it's going to just mirror. And I'll show you, I was actually going to show you guys here why we did it that way, but let me go ahead and just do that right now. So I'm going to type out B. So just a quick show of why we did it that way. So let's go ahead and just add some stones to the outside real quick. And now I'm going to go over this window here, so don't freak out when I do this real quick here. Oh, let's go ahead and add my islands. That always helps. All right, so we're going to create an outline, okay? So there's my outline. Now, if I'm working with my Rhinestone files, of course, I don't want to mirror. Now, if I'm working with my HTV files, I want to mirror that. So what we've done is, because this is a multi-deck design, instead of having you guys create the template, separate the colors, then remember to mirror just the vinyl part, not the rhinestone, you know, it can get a little bit too much and overwhelming when first starting out. So what we did is just basically made it easy and made it a one-click, do everything for you kind of thing, where we can go to templates. I can do a right-click because it tells me right down here, right-click mirrors. So right-click mirrors, but it only mirrors the vinyl, okay? That's the key thing to that particular feature there. So right-click, it's only going to mirror the vinyl part, but notice how the rhinestones, it's still in my original stage, which tells me I can send this part to my cutter, so I can send my vinyl part to the cutter. It's already in mirrored form, so I don't have to worry about coming back and mirroring it and remember how to do all that. It's all done for you guys. So again, with a matter of one click, it was able to do multiple things for you guys, just again to make your life easier and make the process a lot quicker for you guys, all right? And again, I'm going to go over that here momentarily when I show you, when I create this design, I'm going to create in a moment. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here. I do see some other questions coming in. Actually, looks like, I'm sorry, guys. Let me go ahead and, looks like I forgot to add my, my partner in crime here, Sammy, as an organizer. So, all right, so now he should be able to see you guys' questions, all right? So he will be helping me answer some questions now. I'm sorry about that, Sammy. All right, so I do see some questions here. Mike, how would you bring the word back? Read that one. Are you going to talk about the new mockups that just became available for the Wizard? Yes, Ron. Great. Yes, Ron. I was actually going to cover those today. I'm actually I think I'm going to bring in the wine glasses and show you how to work with those. All right, and I'll bring in the page as well for you guys to be able to look at it. All right, Mike. Okay, just want to share. Okay, no problem at all. No problem, Mike. No, you weren't missing any buttons, Mike. Basically, because it's already a vector file, you have to retype the word. All right. All right, guys. Cool. So let's keep ahead. Let's go ahead and move on. Another cool feature that we added to this to the new wizard here, to the 0.11, was our magic envelope tool, and I'll go through that pretty briefly here because I do want to get to the rhinestone window and also the mockup. So with this magic envelope tool, it allows us to do quite a lot with in creating different vector artwork real quick. So let me go ahead and bring in a specific template here. All right, actually, no, let me go ahead and bring a different one. I know I have one here. Okay, I think this is it. All right, perfect. So let's just say we have these designs here, okay? So let me go ahead and ungroup it all. And just for the time being, we're going to go ahead and just get rid of a couple of these. All right, so here is our design. So what we want to do with these designs is I basically want to go ahead and add, I want to go ahead and add the school name on the top here. I'm going to go ahead and place the team name down here, or we can do the opposite. We can do the team name here and the school logo or the school name down here. And then we can add our sport here in the middle to show what kind of sport that particular child is playing. All right, so yeah, you can go in here and type it out and switch around the envelopes. But what we've done is just made it very easy. We're going to go ahead and just type out a couple things here. So we're going to go ahead and type out, Mustangs. So we'll be the Mustangs. And we're going to go ahead and type out, let's go ahead and just do Lakewood. So we have Lakewood and Mustangs typed out. I'm going to go ahead and just select a different font here. And I always like to maximize, and it doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter what size you make the particular text. because the wizard's going to know to resize it when I place it into my envelopes, all right? So what I can do here is, let's go ahead and change these up. So I want to change a different font, obviously something that stands out a bit better. So let's go ahead and do, let me see if I have college black in here. I don't. Let's see what else I have. Maybe impact. We'll go ahead and do impact since. All right, so we have impact here. And now what I want to do is, let's go ahead and place our Mustangs. So we want to make sure we put Mustangs on our green right here, okay? So to do that, I'm simply going to just select one of my green colors here, and I'm going to go ahead and select my select all same color. So notice that select all same colors doesn't just apply for the rhinestones. It applies for your vinyl. It applies for whatever colors you're working on here in Corel. It's going to be able to recognize if there's multiple colors on the page, and it's going to select them all when you select that feature here. Okay? So now that I have all these selected, so I have all my green selected there, I'm simply going to go ahead and select my Mustangs. So click on the envelope first. So we're going to click on the green first, and then the word you want to put in there, okay? And then we're simply going to hit magic envelope. And there it is. Actually, let me go ahead and do one more. Mike, this is, I'm sorry, Steve, this is where you want to know as well. So if I do that again, notice how that time when I did it, it still left the green behind, right? But if I want to go ahead and just select it and make sure that the green background goes away as well, instead of doing a left click, I'm going to do a right click, okay? So I'm going to do a right click where it says magic envelope. So right here, right click deletes shapes, and you can see it at the bottom right here, okay? So again, right click, and there it is. All my background colors were gone. Now we just have Mustangs in there. All right? So now let's go ahead and add our Lake Ranch. So we can add Lake Ranch. Let's go ahead and select it here. We'll go here, and then we'll go here as well, and here. And then we can add shortstop or whatever you want down here. But we can go ahead and select Lake Ranch, and then we're going to do the same exact thing. And there it is. So now you got Lakewood, 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 Lakewood. And then if you want to add the kid's name down here, we can. So we can go here, just type in something cool about your kid. So Rudy Rules. And we can just simply add that right to this area right here. And see that? I don't have to do anything special to that. I can simply just type it out, add it in there, and there's my Mustangs, Lakewood, Rudy Rules at the bottom. Now we're just ready to add our sports, okay? And then you can obviously add your numbers down here. But see how easy I'm creating these different layouts here? And they're all different, so I can, these are all 4 different shirts here. You know, you have 4 different shirts that you're creating simultaneously, and it's really quick and easy. And that's what the magic envelope allows you to do. So now we have here, let's go ahead and install, because we have a 3-sport player or a 3-sport child. So we're going to go ahead and select our tennis ball first and hit magic place. So with the actual vector file of the artwork, you're going to use magic place. If you're using text in an envelope, you can hit magic envelope, okay? But it still works the same. Right click, it gets rid of my background. Now we're going to go ahead and select my yellow. Select the yellow. We'll select, actually, let's go ahead and select all the yellows, why don't we? Actually, we'll select these because the yellows are already the same color. So we'll select these 4 yellows here. And now I can go ahead and select my baseball, hit magic place, and there it is. So let me go ahead and right click. It looks like that's the only thing. So again, I'm going to hold shift, select all my yellow squares here and my circles down at the bottom here. Select my baseball. So now everything that's selected there is just this. So my baseball, my squares, and my circles here, okay? So those are all selected. I'm going to right click on my magic place, and there we go. So now we have our tennis ball, baseball, and let's go ahead and add our football. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and add our football in there. So notice this is a square. It's going to actually place this football in there perfectly. So look at this. I can even come here, resize it to a little bit bigger size, come in my square, hit shift, select my football, right click on magic split or magic place here, and look what happens. Perfectly in there. So it added my Lakewood Mustangs football, football, baseball, tennis. You can add the numbers down here at the bottom. So let's just say he was number 24 for every sport. Now we can just finish it off. And this is just adding, this part right here, the 24 part. If the name right here, the Rudy Rules part, that's all upselling this design because you're adding more customization, more individuality to this particular design, all right? So let's go ahead and go impact. Now I can go ahead and add this 24 to every single area here. Select there. And because it's a number, I'm going to go ahead and use my envelope tool there, okay? So let me go ahead and do that because I keep forgetting to right click. So I'm going to go here and then right click on magic envelope. So there it is. So 24 football, 24 baseball, 24 tennis. Obviously tennis, no real number, but you guys get the point there. So there it is. So you would have your 4 designs created. From there, you can go ahead and send it to your cutter and cut these out, press it on the shirt. And again, these are some of the different designs you might see at the show. If you guys have gone to the shows, we have some sample shirts that actually have these designs already on them. All right? Awesome. So does anybody have any questions in regards to the magic envelope and magic place tools here that we just covered? Let me know if you guys need me to go back and cover those again. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Now we're going to get to our place and fill tool here. All right, so our place and fill window, very useful window. This is going to be our biggest kind of editing window because we're going to be doing a lot with our contours and doing a lot with our fills and hatch fills and island fills and all different things that we can do with this particular page here, okay? So let's go ahead and first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and show you what each fill does for you, okay? So right off the bat, let's go ahead and create a couple designs here. I'm going to go ahead and create my circle. And I'm just going to go ahead and all I'm doing here is I'm holding control down. Notice if I hold control down, and it allows me to move this shape just on the path, okay? So it just allows me to move it right to the next. Right next to it, and then I can just do a right click and it's going to duplicate that circle for me, all right? Just a little hint there, a Corel Draw hint. Now I can do the same thing with my squares. So I'm going to go here, and I'm simply going to go shift, control, move this to the right a little bit. So now we have our 2 different shapes here, okay? So first thing I want to show you guys is the island fill. So the island fill, let me show you exactly what an island fill is going to do for you. So if I select my circle here and I do an island fill to the inside, notice what it did. It just created layers kind of all the way to the center. So it kept recreating that particular design all the way to the center. Okay? Now look what happens if I do it on a square. See that? Same exact thing. Now here's the difference between the island fill and the hatch fill. Now let me go ahead and do the hatch fill here with my circle. See the difference there? So we got horizontal lines all the way through the circle. Now it doesn't seem like that's going to be that big of an issue. But when I place the stones, you're going to see why that makes a big difference. And then if I go here and I do my hatch fill, see that? So again, horizontal lines compared to creating the same design all the way to the center. So just recreating the design all the way to the center. All right. So I have my little arrow key here. My red arrow key is going to do an undo. So I'm just going to do undo for all these here. And now I'm going to show you with the stones why it does make a difference if you use the island fill or the hatch fill. Okay. So I can go here. And I'm just going to select add stones this time, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and select island fill. See that? Because it creates that kind of circular shape all the way throughout, all the way to the center, it looks pretty cool, right? Now look what happens if I do a hatch fill on this circle. See that? Because it's doing horizontal lines, the edges here not so clean. There's a little bit of area missing down here, or up here, I'm sorry. You got some areas missing here. So there's going to be some editing to do with this particular design. But now look what happens if I try to do an island fill in a box. So I have this box here. I'm going to hit island fill. And look what happens now. See that? Corners are touching. There's a lot of space. A lot of the stones are touching. And even right here in the middle, it just doesn't look clean, all right? It's not what we want from this particular design. But look what happens if I do a hatch fill here now. So if I go here, hit hatch fill. Now that's pretty nice, right? Perfect lines. Looks straight. That's what we're looking for. So clean, professional looking design. Not so much. Same thing goes up here. Clean, professional looking design, not so much here. Now, big thing is, notice how we have, when I place those stones here, we have our paths. So notice if I go to my wireframe view, there's these lines going right through all my circles. Now, obviously when you send it to your cutter, the cutter doesn't realize that this is a rhinestone pattern. What the cutter realizes is that these are cut lines. So this circle's a cut line, this circle's a cut line, this circle's a cut line. And what I mean by cut line is that it recognizes this line right here, and it's going to cut that out. Otherwise, if I bring it, I'm going to bring in a PNG file here momentarily, and I'll show you the difference between a PNG file and a vector file. All right. So now that I have those cut lines here, obviously I don't want to send that to my cutter because it's going to cut directly through those circles. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight them all. And I'm simply going to I'm going to hold my shift button down and hit clear paths. And there it is. Clear my path. Now, when I clear my paths, you can see a little bit easier, how nice those designs come out using the different features. So here we have our island fill on a round circle, on a round design, and then our hatch fill on a round design here, and then we have our island fill on a square design down here on the left-hand side, and then also the hatch fill on a square here on the right-hand side. All right. So you guys see the difference there? Does anybody have any questions in between these two different fills here? Okay, awesome. So now let's go ahead and show you guys where we will be able to use either of these types of fills there. So let's just say we have somebody calls in and they want to create a heart shape. Okay, so they want to do a multicolor heart design on the front of the shirt. Okay, so what I can do is I can come here, make this just a little bit bigger. Now I can do this as a multicolor design. Okay, so to do that, I can go ahead and go to my place and fill window here. I'm going to go islands. I'm going to select one island, okay, because I just want to create one island to the outside. I don't want to add the stones because I want to show you exactly what it's going to do here when I add my island to the outside. So if I do island fill, let me go ahead and fill these in so I can color these in. So I did an island fill and it added this contour line to my particular heart that I already had in there. So if I select that layer there, you can tell all it did is really add another layer underneath this one by 0.07. Okay, so it added that's the contour spacing. So let me go back here and here. And then that 0.07 is just the distance between this design here and this new layer it created here, okay? So that contour spacing is that right there. So let's go ahead and make that green. So now we have a two-color design, okay? A couple things I can do here is, first let me go ahead. You guys see this contour line around here? Notice that if I do that, there's no other line there. So that's actually, we can get rid of that and it's still going to cut that area out there. So to get rid of that blue line and that black line there, I'm just going to simply hit my X up here. But instead of left clicking, I'm going to do a right click on that X and it gets rid of it. Same thing with my blue inside here. Right click on that. Now it's gone. So now we have our two-color design here. All right, so you can see two colors. Now let's go ahead and add some stones to this. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and select my outside path here. Okay, so I'm going to select that outside path. Because I already created the island, I don't have to create another island. What I have is add stones to selected path feature here. That's going to just add the stones to this path only, okay? Because that's the only path I selected is the green behind it. So we're going to go ahead and select that, and we're going to go ahead and let's say we want to make this multicolor, multi-deck design, or excuse me, multicolor, multi-size design. So I can go, let's go ahead and do the 6s on the outside, and then we'll do the fill in 10s. What do you guys think? Or vice versa. Let's go actually do the fill or the outline in 10s, and then we'll do the fill in 6s. So we're going to go ahead here and select our SS 10s. I'm going to add stone selected path, and there it is. Doesn't look like much, but if I go here, and I'm going to hit clear paths. So now that I hit clear path, there's my first layer. All right, so there's my first layer of stones. Notice how perfect that came in there. All the spacing is perfect. So now we know we're ready to create the second layer, which is going to be the fill. Okay, so now to do the fill, I'm going to go up down here to my Rhinestone window here, and it's going to reset it to my original settings. So now I don't have any islands selected. I don't have any contour space selected, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead here and select 0.07. And now we're going to go ahead and choose our 6s because we want to have 6s on the inside and then the 10s on the outside. Okay. So now I don't want to add any islands because I wanted the whole thing to be filled. Now, if I just want to do one layer or a couple layers, I can do the islands, which is going to be your layers. But if you want it to be just a complete fill, I can just leave it alone and hit island fill. So we're going to go inside, add stones, 0.07, add island fill, and there it is. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and change the color before we do that. So let's go ahead and make that black, and then we can click here, and then I'm going to do the island fill. And you see here what happened? So because I didn't change my spacing, my space here and my fill line spacing, there's going to be a lot of spacing in between the stones, which is fine. I just wanted to show you guys how to accomplish the two color and the two different layers with the two size rhinestones as well. So let me go ahead and clear that. So now we have areas here where we obviously can fit more stones in the middle here because there's an opening here and it doesn't look that great, right? So what we've done is added a tool in here to make that process much easier for you guys. So let's just say, let me go ahead and, you know what, let me go ahead and make this, let's go move this back to 10s. So I can select all my blacks here. I can select my 10s just because I see the spacing in here. There's a lot of spacing, so I think it's going to look better in 10s. So I'm just going to go ahead here and hit my replay stones. And actually now let's go back to 6s. It's not going to look good that way. So let's go back to 6s. Okay. So let's go ahead here and I'm going to go ahead and select a couple stones here that I want to close in. So I'm just going to hold shift and select my stones. So all I did is hold shift and select this stone, this stone, this stone, this stone, and this stone, and this stone. So now I have my area selected, because what I want to happen right now is when I hit my magic respace tool, it's going to bring all these together. It's going to respace them, okay? So let's go ahead and hit that respace tool right here at the bottom. So next to my clear path, you have magic respace. Go ahead and select that and see what it did. It just brought them closer together. Now what I can do is I can use my arrow key here and add more stones to that area. So now we're good. Let's go ahead and clear a path, which is the line right here. We're going to go ahead and clear path. And now we can go ahead and keep adding, closing out these areas. So again, all we're doing here is just editing our design to make it look more professional. So we can go here, add a couple more stones, hit clear path. So you see what it's doing? It's just cleaning off those areas here and making that design look more presentable. Okay, so let's say right here, we can go here and magic respace, add a couple more there, and then we're good. See how it closes these areas off? And ultimately, it's just making that design look a lot nicer. Okay, are you guys working with that magic respace tool yet? Okay, okay, awesome. So a couple of you guys have seen it before. And again, what you see a lot of when you first start designing is you try to move this one over and you try to duplicate this one, then you try to fit them in here, make it look nice. But ultimately, it's not going to look as perfect because you're still going to be doing it by hand. It's still going to be some that are off a little bit, so they're not going to be proportionate, okay? So what I can do is I can simply, by that magic respace tool, it's going to allow me to respace all those accordingly, and it's going to make that design look a lot nicer. All right, so that's one way to use the island fill there. Now, if I wanted to use a hatch fill, let's say we have a text. So I'm going to go ahead and type out, what do you guys want to do? Let's do cheer. So we'll go ahead and do cheer. And I'm simply going to go ahead and just make this a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and make it about 10 inches. All right, so again, I'm just going to make this word a little bit bigger here. But all I want to basically do here is I'm going to go ahead and select, let's go do impact and make it just a bit bigger. All right, so let's say we have our cheer spelled out here and we want to rhinestone this design out, okay? So to do that, what I can do is I can go to my SS10 stones here. And I'm simply going to do inside fill. Let's not do a contour spacing. We're going to keep the contour spacing off because we don't have an outline. And I'm simply going to do a hatch fill, okay? But first, I'm going to do corner detect, and then I'm going to do a hatch fill. So there it is. Now it filled up my design. Let me go ahead and hit Shift, clear my background. So there is my cheer. Now notice that the C right here, it's a little bit off. So it looks like I just added one stone here. But look at what happens if I drag my ruler down. I see that that stone there is still off anyways. So if I try to clean this up and fill it in there, the C is going to be much larger than the rest of the word. So what I can do is I can simply delete that one. And now we can do the same thing for the bottom here. Now, to get that ruler out, all I did is go to the top here. Notice how we have this ruler here in Corel Draw. Now, if you don't see that, it's because you have it turned off. In order to turn that ruler on, you just go up here. Right below the help, you have a little kind of a T-square kind of ruler there, 90-degree angle ruler there. Just click on that, and it's going to show you the ruler. Now I can just bring this down here and make sure that this is leveled. So it looks like perfect. Looks like that circle's off too. So that actually worked out pretty cool. So now we have our word cheer there. So what can we do with this? We have it filled in. We can do some different things with it because the stones are now individual. See that? They're all, I can select each one. I can do some cool things with this. So 4th of July coming right on the corner. Let's go ahead and you can create an American flag out of this. So we can go here. Actually, let's go ahead and of course, the color doesn't really matter right off the bat. Let's go ahead and a little bit further, and we'll go ahead and make that red. Actually, you know what? The colors doesn't matter right now, so let's just go ahead and choose whatever color just for the time being. So I can go here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start change the colors here. And see what I'm doing? I'm just doing the different layers. So you can come here and change them, and because the color doesn't matter quite yet, what I'm doing is just customizing this cheer word to make it look a little bit cooler, a little nicer. But just because we started off with a simple text, did a hatch fill, now we're creating a cool looking design with that particular hatch feature that we just used there, okay? So see how easy it is to manipulate this particular design already? So I can just keep doing this all the way down, and it's gonna give me a cool looking flag effect. And of course, once you change all your colors around, you can add your stars here in the middle, and then we can ultimately have is a cool looking cheer flag looking design ready to work with. All right. Does everybody want to see how we did that again? The hatch fill for that particular design there. Okay, awesome. Okay, perfect. So pretty easy. And again, I can just come here and finish this off if I like to. But it's going to take a little bit of time, and I do see it's 3:55, which I still want to show you guys the mockup feature. But if you guys keep this going, again, it will give you a cool looking flag effect for this particular design. All right? Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the mockup feature just because I know we had a lot of questions on how to use those different, the new mockups that we just came out with. So let me go ahead and find that particular file here. So let me go ahead and show you guys these, the mockups. Okay. So right here, so this right here is, you can find the new mockups that we actually posted on the website. So these are extra mockups that you can actually add, and I'll show you what you can do with those here momentarily, right? So these are the new ones that Ron was asking about earlier. So you have your shorts, you have your arm sleeve, glasses here, you have your JM Maker game day shirts, your hoodie, so your polo shirt there for golfing. So your different mockups, and I'll show you exactly what we can do with those mockups, all right? So let's go ahead and go back to our workspace here. So let's just say we have, let me go ahead and bring this design in here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and bring this in. All right, so right now we have a two-color design here that I'm going to work with. So let's go ahead and ungroup this, and I hope you guys don't mind. I think I'm going to go over just a little bit here, so I hope you guys don't mind. Again, the mockup feature, pretty cool, so I want to definitely make sure we get go through this and you guys are able to accomplish everything we're going to cover here by the time you guys leave this webinar, all right? So first thing I want to do is basically I need to make these two into one, all right? So I can go here, and first thing I want to do is highlight just the top box here, just my whole design with the weed box. And I'm simply going to go down here to my Rhinestone, TRW Stone Wizard, and select my box, which is going to group it all. Okay, so this is all grouped. So this grouped it all together. Okay, perfect, Steve. I'm glad this is helping. And again, we do have a lot of videos like this, guys, that help you guys through it, but I know it's a lot easier if you guys get to see it in person, live, and able to ask questions, which is why we do so many webinars that might seem similar, but again, you know, every single one seems to be helping everybody out. So we keep doing these beginner ones, and we're going to get into more intermediate and more complex ones as well. But we definitely want to make sure you guys are getting the basics down as well, because you can't get to the complex, intermediate without having all the basics down. All right, so let's go ahead and change the color here. And all I'm doing right now is just getting this design so I can have it as one design so I can create a mock-up with it, all right? So let's go ahead and change the color here. So we're going to change that to red, and I'm going to group it. So now we have two individual boxes here. But now, notice if I go to my wireframe view, the design is still in there. I just colored it all one color, okay? Not a big deal, because what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of those boxes anyways. So I'm going to show you what we got to do now. We're going to go ahead and highlight both of my squares here, or both of my boxes, and I'm just going to simply select the letter P. All right, so I hit P, and it brings it together. All right, let me go ahead and do that again for you guys. So on the keyboard, just simply select P. Nothing else, just P as in Paul, and it's going to bring them together. Okay, so here, P, and it brings it together. Okay, so now that they're together, now watch what's going to happen. I'm going to highlight my box again, and I'm simply going to go to my ungroup all, and notice that now it ungrouped all my circles and the box outside. So now I can come here, hit delete, and there is the red showing. Now hit here, hit ungroup all, hit delete. Oh, looks like that one's shown through. So hit delete, and there it is. So now we have our baseball mom, and it's all one design now. Okay? Steve, the letter P, yes, that is, and I'll show you right after we're done here, Steve. I'll show you another cheat sheet that we do offer on the website. It's free. It's a free PDF file that you can actually download or print out and have right there on your computer, right? So just remind me right before I get done with the webinar, I'll show you that cheat sheet and where that is located for you guys, all right? All right, so what we have here is our baseball mom design, all right? So let me go ahead and make this. Let's go ahead and make that 50 by 50. Now, the reason I'm changing my workspace area here is because the way the mockups work in the software here, you have to have your designs inside this workspace area in order for it to work properly, okay? So for me, it's just easier to make the workspace as big as possible so I don't even have to worry about it. All right, so we have the baseball mom here. First thing I want to do is let's go ahead and make this, let's go ahead and make these into our true colors that we want to work with. So we'll go ahead and make this white. So Now, you know what's funny? I don't know why that's actually a 2-color design. That should be a 3, which is fine. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and select our green here, and we'll make that red. So now we have our 2-color design here ready to go. Okay? Actually, it is the 2-color. That's fine. All right, so we have the front. So this is going to go on the front of our shirt. Okay? So now we have the customer. They call in, and they really want to add a little something extra to the t-shirt to really make it pop and make it more customizable and individual for that particular mother. All right, so what I can do is, you know, because there's a lot of names out there you might not want to create a rhinestone template for, you know, you can always suggest doing the vinyl part. You can always suggest doing the numbers in the back, or in the name in the back with vinyl, which is going to be a lot easier on you guys, and it's going to be a lot quicker to create and a lot easier to create than if you wanted to go ahead and do a whole rhinestone design for the back of the shirt as well. So let me show you what we can do. We can simply come here. I can type out, so I'm going to type out Marrero, which is my last name. So we're going to add the Marrero to the back, all right? So let's go ahead and choose a nice font for the back. And again, you'll notice I like Impact. It's just a nice bold font that I can work with. So I can go here. Let's make that. All right, so we got that there. And now let's go ahead and add the numbers. So let's say we have 24. All right, I was a big Griffey fan if you guys don't notice. All right, so we have the 24 here. Now let's go ahead and make this a little bit more unique, all right? So what we can do is actually, I can use my baseball laces, and that adds a little bit more. Because it's a baseball design, hey, why not add some baseball laces on the back? And now this is going to look pretty cool. So let's go ahead and just make this, just have it bigger here. All right, so we can do this. Now, the big difference with our numbers, okay? The biggest difference with the number is that we can't use the 2-color magic text like we did with the letters, because the way that the letters are created, we use caps to add the second color, where in this case, we can't do that. So let me show you guys how to add the second color to a number. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm still going to select the 2-color magic text here. And the only reason why is because it's going to create a duplicate, okay? So notice it didn't do much other than just create the second layer, okay? So one more time. We got our single layer here. I'm going to go 2-color magic text, and now we have our 2-color design here, okay? So there's our 2-color design. Now, biggest difference here is I'm going to double-click on my orange here, on my orange layer. I'm going to highlight over it. I'm going to hold Shift. So I'm holding Shift down, and I'm just going to type over 24. And there you go. So there's my second color. All right. Do you guys need me to go over that again? I know. So let me go ahead and do that just one more time so everybody can see that what I did there. So again, I'm going to select my 24, 2-color magic text. Nothing happens other than adding a second layer on top of it. I'm going to select a second layer, double-click, highlight. So left-click, hold, drag over my 24. Now I'm going to hold Shift to 4. There's my 24. All right. So pretty cool looking design here. Now look what we've done here. What we have accomplished is we've added every single color of glitter vinyl of our neon glitter, holographic, fashion, and electric. We've added all these to the software. So again, this is presentation. This is what you're going to be showing your customer. This is what's going to sell this particular product or this design. So you know, if you have 100, if you have a possible order for 100 shirts, you want to make sure that this is going to look as professional as possible. But of course, you don't want to cut it out. You don't want to, you know, you want to save some material. You want to save time. So what we can do is create the design and put it on a T-shirt to show that customer. Okay, and that's what's going to, these colors here, the vinyl here is going to do for you. Is going to help you accomplish that. All right. So let's go ahead and make the, we'll go ahead and make the black here. We'll make it in white, and then we'll change the outline here for white as well. You know what? Let me go ahead and move this to the front. So let me go ahead and move the, I'm going to go ahead and move the white here because I want it to pop more. Notice right now, let me see what happens if I hit edit to front. Okay, see what happened there? So let me go back one. See, because I did the outline first and I added the second layer was the fill, notice how the fill kind of covered a little bit of the outline there? I don't want that because I want to make sure the outline stands out. It makes the design stand out more, okay? So what I want to do is, let's go ahead and select my orange. So I just have my orange selected. All right, so just selecting the orange, I'm going to come here where it says to back, okay? And then look at that. So see how the white came through now and it shows a lot more. Now, when you press it, the white is just going to be overlapping just a tad bit, but because it's not too, because it's a slight overlap, it's not going to be too It's not going to damage the actual vinyl. It's not gonna, the water's not going to be able to get in there because most of this right here, this side, all the way down here, even more, actually probably all this right here is going to be on the garment. So there's no way water's going to get into that little area right there, right? So now let's go ahead and change the inside here. So we can change that to, we can do hot pink, we can do blue, whatever. So here it is. So we got the back of the shirt here. We have the front of the shirt here. So now we just got to put it on the mock-up, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do simulate stone detail. I'm not sure if I have a logo in here, so I won't do the logo, but we can do TRW, baseball, mom. All right, so I'm going to type in my description that I want this particular design to be called. Tasha, great question. Tasha's question was, would you press the orange or white first on the numbers? Now, because I want that bold outline to come through, I would press the blue first. Okay, so the blue first, and then I would do the white. And because we have a slight overlap, don't worry about it. It's still going to be perfect. But the main thing here is that we want to make sure that the outline, because that border really makes those numbers pop, we want to make sure that it's as bold as possible and that the laces are as bold as possible. Okay, it's just going to make it look a lot nicer. All right, so now let's go ahead and select what type of garment we're going to put this on. So I can do here, let's go ahead and do, we'll do front and back, obviously, because we have a back design and we have the front design. Let's go ahead and put on a proof sheet, make sure the customer knows what they're getting. They're going to be able to sign off on the documentation there, and they're going to get back to you with it. Once you receive that documentation, hey, you're ready to go. You're ready for the production. Okay, so now let's go ahead and select our women's. Let's go ahead and just do V-neck. So we'll go ahead and drop this on a V-neck shirt. Now the big thing here, this is the biggest thing when you're doing the front and back designs, all right? The biggest thing is you want to make sure you highlight the part of the design that's going to be going on the front of the shirt, all right? So front of the shirt highlighted, back of the shirt not. But another big thing is make sure it's all inside this workspace area here, okay? So I have it all inside the workspace area. Looks like we're ready to go. My design is highlighted. Now we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and select my V-neck here. Now the first going to run through the process, through the actual designs. It's going to place it directly on my T-shirt. So here it is. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. So notice it's a white T-shirt. No problem. I understand we can't see the crystal there. Not a big deal. Let's go ahead and change that. We can do lime green, blue. You can change the color of the shirt. There's my design showing. Another great thing about it is, remember we were talking about making sure that the customer sees the full design and how it's going to look like on a T-shirt. So we added little rhinestones to them. So now, because I did simulate stones, it actually added those rhinestones to it. Again, makes it look more realistic, more professional. Now you're able to show off that particular design on the T-shirt, exactly what it's going to look like when you actually cut it out, brush them in, and press it onto your garment. We go over here, same thing. We can go to purple. Look what we have. We have our number 24, Marrero. There it is, perfect, ready to go. Now you'll notice here, let me go here and show you guys. So we have an interactive fill tool here. If I select here, oh, sorry, let me go ahead and select this area right here because notice how it's a little pixelated right there? Watch what happens. Because I chose this interactive tool here, interactive fill tool, okay? I can go here and select the area where I want to just work on. And if I go down, look at this. See what's happening there? It's actually changing up the glitter vinyl here. So it's making it a little bit smoother. It's going to make it a little bit better, nicer looking. So let me go here. And there, you know what? Let me go ahead and go back a page because you can't see as much here because the design's small. But you can tell it's changing those boxes. It's making those boxes a lot smaller. So let me go here and show you guys a little bit better. Okay? So again, actually looks pretty good there. So let me see what we can do here for you guys. All right? So we got our interactive fill tool here. Let's go ahead and select our area right here. But notice if I increase the size, notice that 24 changed there. If I decrease the size, see how much sharper the image gets, and it actually looks like the glitter vinyl. So again, that interactive tool there, and I would do it before you create the mock-up, just because you noticed when I was trying to do it in the mock-up, it was kind of tiny there, kind of hard to see. But that's what you want to do in this case, so you can actually create that nice looking glitter effect and show your customers. So right here, it actually looks nice. So see how I'm doing that? I'm changing just the look of it just a little bit and making it a little bit more glitter look like. It actually looks like the glitter vinyl. See that? So quick little tip there for you guys to take advantage of, just to make it look a little bit nicer in the mock-up. So from here, we also have some more information down here. So we have our number of stones and the stone size that we use for it. We have our documentation down here. And we're actually working for the, I don't want to give away too much, but we're actually creating a pretty cool proof sheet for the new wizard, okay? So we have a lot of good things coming in that 3.0, so just be patient with us. I think time-wise, hopefully sooner than later. But right here we have some documentation. So we have our quote, quantity discount, shirt color, everything you need is in there for your customer to sign off at the bottom here and agree on it. So once they agree on it, you guys are ready for production. And now you can send this to your cutter, the design to your cutter, get it cut out, and get it pressed on the shirts. Now, great thing about the mockups is you can actually edit them. So if you double click, you can edit everything you see in here. You can edit. Double click here. We can do plus shipping. You know, whatever you need to do. You can type in there whatever you need to fix in there. It can be done. So a lot of this stuff can be edited, again, just to make, obviously, fit your company style. Okay? Now, this is the one part I want to get to. So I want to show you guys the mockups there. I know, again, it's 10 minutes past, but I'll make sure to, I will definitely want to make sure I covered this part here. All right, so those mockups that we brought up. Notice how right here we have mockups already installed. Those mockups I showed just now, let me go ahead and bring that back up. So these mockups right here that we created are customizable mockups for you guys. Okay, so you can purchase these mockups. The wine glasses, you won't be able to change the color, but like right here, the J America, you can. Right here, you can. The sweatshirt, you can. The shirt, you can. But basically, what that's going to allow you to do is we have some sections here where it actually says custom. Okay, and this custom section right here is going to allow me to actually add my own custom mockup to it. So obviously, if you don't want to use the ones already placed in here, you could create your own, which we do have videos showing you that. But you can also purchase the ones that we just uploaded on the website yesterday and use those as well. So let me show you how to work with those, okay? So I'm going to bring in our wine glasses that I just showed. All right, so there's our wine glasses. Right now, comes in an EPS file or SVG file, as well as a CDR file. So you get all three file types depending on depending on which one you prefer to work with. But basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and right-click and ungroup them both because these right now are grouped together. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just get rid of this one and just work with this one for right now. Okay, so what I first want to do is I want to add this to my custom list here. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to select the image. So I got my image selected here, and I'm just going to simply right-click on the number that I want to drop it in. So I right-clicked here because I want to go in number 8. So there's my wine glass. Okay, so a couple of different things we got to do now. Now bear with me because now we're going to start getting into the left click, right click, okay? So first thing is first, we're going to go ahead and copy my glass here. So first thing I'm going to do is hold Control C as in cat, and that's all that's doing is copying that, okay? So if I went here and hit Control V, see that? I just copied one on top of the other, okay? So that's all we did there was just hit Control C as in cat to copy this, and the reason for that is because now we're going to actually size. We're going to actually create the area where we want the logo to go on, okay? So we're going to go back to our number 8 here. I'm going to hold Shift and left click. So Shift, left click, and that's going to open up a whole new page here. So if I go to Untitled 1, we still have our wine glass here. If I go to my custom front here, we have a red box. If I go to my custom back, we have an orange box. Let's go ahead and get rid of this area right here because we're not going to add anything to the back of the shirt. So not going to save anything there. So we're working right now under our custom 08 front, okay? So now, remember I copied my cup earlier? Now I can come back here, hit Control V as in Victor, and there's my cup. So now I have my cup in the image. Now I can go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and get this in my workspace, move this over some. Now let's go ahead and get this in the area we need it to be. So I can go ahead and place this right here in the center of my cup. So right here, and then we're going to go ahead and select this, go to edit, and then move the wine glass to the back, okay? So now we have our box here with our wine glass. So this area right here, that area is where my design is going to go, okay? Now there's one big step that we cannot miss in order to get this process correct, okay? And that is making sure that we choose a size for this area right here. So what that's going to allow us to do is when we create our design, it's going to make it proportionate, and it's going to add it to that area. Otherwise, it's going to come up too big in the glass, and it's just going to look odd and awkward, and sometimes it's going to give you an error message, okay? So how do we do that? Simple. We're going to go select our box, okay? So we select the box here. We're going to go back to my mockups, and I still have my number 8 here, okay? Now, here's the big difference. To get the box out before, we did left click, shift, right? So we held shift and we did a left click. What we're going to do here now is we're still going to hold shift, but instead of doing left click, we're going to do a right click. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys one more time. So biggest thing, select the box, hold shift, right click on my cup, and there it is. There's my TRW Stone Wizard. Please enter size. Now I know from previous experience, I've seen the video that Matt created a little bit ago. I know he used about 2.7, right around that range, 2.75. So let's go ahead and just do 2.75. Now this is already, it knows it's supposed to be in inches, so we're just going to go ahead and select OK. All right, now that that's all completed, now all we have to do is I'm going to highlight my design under the same exact tab here. So I'm still under my custom 08 front tab. I'm going to select File, Save As. Now look what happens. It brings me to where you need to save it. Now, you don't have to hit anything. Don't click anything. Don't change the name, because if you do change the name, the wizard's not going to find that particular mockup, and it's not going to work. So make sure you leave it as custom _ 08 _ font. Okay, or excuse me, front. And all we have to do in this window is hit save. Okay, it's going to bring up this confirm save as. The custom 08 front CDR already exists. You want to replace it? Hit yes. Okay, so we're replacing it. So now let's go back to our main page here about RM. All right, so I'm going to type in my RM, and I'm just going to go here. We're going to go ahead and select our baseball laces. I'm just going to do one color this time, and I'm just going to copy it. All right. The main thing is you want to make sure you don't do it on the same page. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new page here. Hit my Control V to paste it. I'm going to go back to my Stone Wizard, Mockups. And then we're going to go ahead and place it right onto our design here, okay? So we're going to click on our cup, and there it is. So see that when I went back and resaved it, so it looks like all I forgot to do was actually hit the OK button when I did save the settings there. So now we have our mug here, our wine glass. Now this is ready to go. So we can come in here, change the color of it if we like. So we can change it to any color we like. If you want to do a nice little glitter color on there, just make it pop a little bit more, you can do so. So different things here to make that design look a little bit nicer. But that's how we can actually install your own custom mockup into the TRW Stone Wizard. So very simple, very quick, very easy to do. Okay? Does anybody have any questions in what we just did there? Okay, awesome, guys. And again, we do have this video. Matt did just create a video on this. I want to make sure that we went over it again here because I want to see if anybody had any questions. I want to answer those for you guys. But again, it's very easy to use to create those different custom mockups. Now, you don't have to use the ones that we offer in the website. The advantage of those is that you're able to change the colors on them, okay? Now, you are able to bring in your own glass, or you can take a picture of something and bring it in and trace it and then add it in there. The only difference is you won't be able to change the color of that particular item. So you bring in a shirt, as long as the shirt's a certain color, that's the color it's going to stay at. Now with the wine glasses, these obviously don't change colors just because they're supposed to be clear. So we want to make sure it's as realistic as possible when we're working with these different mock-ups. All right, guys. Now I do apologize again. I went over. I tried not to go over this webinar, but there's so many different features in the wizard that we want to show off and show you guys how to use those different tools. So I mean, it did take a little bit longer than expected, but I hope that you guys got everything that I wanted to show, and you guys were able to get some knowledge out of this, and hopefully this benefits you guys and helps you guys with the creating process, as well as better your business by being able to save time and money when creating these different mock-ups and different designs and using the fonts and all the different things you can use to obviously cut the production process or cut the production time in half. All right. No problem, Ron. Again, guys, thank you so much for everybody for joining me today. We do have one more webinar tomorrow. It's going to be a Designer Edition software webinar. I believe Lisa's going to be teaching that one. It's at 12 o'clock Eastern time. So if you guys are working with the Designer Edition currently, make sure you guys tune into that one. I know she likes doing a lot of more girly designs than myself and Matt. So it's always good to see a different face and a different voice in the webinar. So make sure you guys tune in. Say hi to Lisa. She's our new marketing manager. She's been doing a great job here. Deborah, 12 o'clock Eastern time, okay? PM, obviously. Okay, guys. No problem at all. I appreciate everybody's time today. Deborah, no code today, unfortunately. Now, but we do have something. If let me go ahead and bring up the Facebook page real quick. We are actually pretty close to. Oh, if you guys didn't notice as well, we actually just got our new sign at the front of the warehouse here. So it's finally becoming homey, as you can say. It's getting a little bit. It's finally coming together. The build out is almost done, so we're pretty excited about that. But what I wanted to show you guys is we're almost at 11,000, guys. So make sure you guys go ahead and share the page. Get everybody to like it. If we reach 11,000, we have a little special coupon code for you guys. So make sure when you guys get off, start sharing that so we can get to 11,000 likes, all right? All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you guys join us tomorrow for right here. We got the basic introduction to the Designer Edition software. So make sure you guys tune into that one. Again, my name is Rudy with the Rhinestone World. If you guys have any questions, feel free to. Mike, no launch tomorrow. That's going to be the launches. We're going to set it up for next week, all right? All right, guys. Thank you again so much for joining me. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 941-755-1696. Have a great day, everybody.